we've got here the standard manufacturing DP12 and the IWI Tavor TS12. All right, empty. 16 shots. All right, we've got 17 on the Tavor shotgun. Safety off. And again, this one's semi-automatic. Oh, still had another round, I think. Yep, okay. Rotate the magazine. Pump shotgun, semi-automatic shotgun. So on this you have two barrels, right? It is a pump action double barrel shotgun, which is very odd, but they did a good job designing it, and I think for the most part. So the way it works is loads from the rear back here, you load it back there, and then each time you pump, you get 2 rounds, one in each chamber for each barrel, and then you have 2 trigger pulls, bam, bam, and then it releases the action. You can pump 2 more in, and you're ready to go. Now, if you fire the first one, and then you forget that you're shooting this unusual shotgun, you're trying to rack another one in, it won't do it. It won't move until you pull that trigger again, fire the next one, and then you're good to go. So that's how that one, that's kind of the basics of how that one operates. And there's safeties over here, sort of AR-15 style, basically. And then to disengage the pump, just like, you know, for example, on your on the Mossberg shotguns, you know, it's like a little button right by the grip, and then on the 870, it's in front of the trigger guard. To release the pump, you push this little thing right here. And of course, that's only when you're not firing it, because if I fire it, it's free, of course, just like a regular shotgun. But if I just want to rack it open without pulling the trigger, push down right there, and that frees it. Okay, so that's kind of how that one works. Now this one is semi-automatic. It loads through the side here, so you can load on this side, load on that side, and then the way you rotate this magazine is you push up on this little lever right here, and then you can pull it this direction, or you can pull it back that direction. But you've got 3 magazine tubes that each hold 5 rounds, plus 1. That's how you get the 16 round capacity. And also a round, when you push this button right here, will sit in the carrier down here. And if you're careful, you can sneak another round in, so that's what gives you the 17. With a pump shotgun, for a year, and you guys have seen me talk about this gun, you know what I'm about to say. A lot of us grew up with pump shotguns. It's just a staple of shooting and firearms. Everyone knows the pump shotgun. It's like one of the most familiar designs of almost any firearm that exists. And this feels like that, but it's a little bit different. And that's one of the negatives of it, because I feel like in a situation where you might need to use this to defend your life, you might resort back to what you know of a pump shotgun is, and it's boom, and then rack another one in. But it doesn't work that way. You've got to fire it twice. Now, it doesn't let you do anything. So if you fire it, you know, it won't move. So if you've trained with this gun or practiced with it at all, you would think that even under stress in your head, you would go, oh, you know, fire it again, or push the lever down here, of course, and you would rack out the empty and the live round, and then you could put a fresh new 2 rounds in. So you could do that if you wanted to, but it's 2 shots. So that's one thing that makes this gun a little bit weird, because it's very familiar but also different at the same time. So it could get you confused if you don't spend a lot of time on it. Whereas this gun is so different and unusual, I feel like you're less likely to get confused about it and confuse it with the way another type of shotgun operates, because it's so different. But I don't love the magazine change. I like how on the pump, you get the guaranteed 2 shots each time. You rack them in, you got 2 shots, super reliable. Yeah, you know you got those 2 shots at least once you rack 2 more in. With this being a semi-automatic, you've got the potential unreliable aspects that can come along with semi-automatics, where if you're using the wrong ammo, it's too hot or too light. It does have a gas setting, but there's only 2 settings, and there's a million different types of ammo. It's all loaded different. So you could run into problems there that you would not run into with this. But you do have, if you're using 2 3/4 shells, you've got 5 shots without having to do anything. You know, just boom, 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 boom. And then you've got to rotate that magazine, but it's a little awkward because it's kind of hard to do in one motion without, you know, because you kind of have to jerk the gun. I mean, I guess you practice it a lot, you could get better at it, but you kind of want to get pinched underneath there when you rotate it, so with your thumb, because the magazine has to rotate, and it's also your grip, so that's a little weird. I don't love that, but I will say this one is better when it comes to loading, because you've got the tubes right here on either side, so you can be shooting and you can top it off, and you still got maybe 2 or 3 rounds left in this magazine. You can rotate it over to a full mag. If I had to choose one of these, you know, for the infected apocalypse or whatever, I'd probably pick this one. I feel more comfortable with it. It's not as easy to load, but it just seems a lot more solid, and I feel like I can handle it a little bit better. And it's also, the recoil is a little softer on this thing. It's heavy. It's got this spring-loaded pad in the back here, where this one beats you up a little more, even though it's semi-automatic. But you know, that's kind of my thoughts on it. I would still, I think, prefer a standard pump shotgun like a Mossberg 590 or something like that. But I have to say, the DP12, I think, is probably still my favorite of these high capacity, probably any of the high capacity shotguns. I'm not crazy about the magazine fed ones either.